بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والتسليم على نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه ومن سن بسنته إلى يوم الدين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome back. It's good to have you here, and it's so nice to see that we are currently on chapter 4. Yay! Right, this is, the sweetness and the delight that comes with consistent effort. It has compounding effect. Right, and there's an hadith of the Prophet ﷺ which says, Ahabul amal ilallahi adwamuha wa in qalla. The most beloved deeds to Allah are those small, consistent ones. Right? So as long as we maintain that lifelong journey, you don't need to do too much and you overwhelm yourself as a result. You can do it consistently and in milestones. So the same mindset is what we should adopt when it comes to the Quran. We are learning Arabic to better our understanding of the Book of Allah, because we know that there is a lot of immense benefits there. And I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring us closer to His book. Don't forget, the purpose of bringing these sessions to us is to better our understanding of the Quran. And I also want to remind us that there is a dedicated section on this channel which kinds of treats the vocabulary we learn in this text in depth and show us where they occur in the Quran and the different meanings they have. You can try to look at those resources as well. Now, don't forget, the author of our book is Abul Hasan Ali Al-Hassani Al-Nadwi, and we are currently working on the text Qirāatul Raashidah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the understanding. Ameen. So we are on chapter 4. We are at chapter 4. في السوق. في السوق, in the market. Chapter 4, في السوق, in the market. So this is a conversation between Umar and Khalid. Conversation in Arabic, call it حوار. We call conversation in Arabic حوار, and the plural of that is حوارات. Okay? The conversation between Umar and Khalid. في السوق, in the market. So سوق أسواق. سوق أسواق. أسواق is the plural of سوق, and we can see this word أسواق in the Quran. ما لهذا الرسول لا يأكل الطعام ويمشي في الأسواق, and he walks in the market, in the markets. Right? So this word exists, and this is why I constantly emphasize that whenever you are learning new words, make sure you learn the plurals with them. Okay? When you're learning the Arabic, the verbs, learn it in this format. We are learning it the past tense, the present tense, and the verbal noun. Okay? And this is why we are doing this, so that when you meet this word in another form, maybe in the plural form or in the present tense form, you are still familiar that, it's still the same word but in a different form. Okay, this is the purpose why we are learning it this way. Okay, let's read, and afterwards we translate. Umar said, هل زرت سوق هذا البلد يا صديقي? And Khalid responded, لا يا أخي, فإني غريب جديد في هذا البلد لا أعرف الطريق. Umar said, تعال معي فإني ذاهب إلى السوق لأشتري بعض الحوائج ونرجع قبل المغرب إن شاء الله فإن السوق غير بعيدة. Khalid said, ما شاء الله هذه سوق كبيرة والدكاكين نظيفة جميلة وما هذا الدكان الجميل إلى اليمين يا عمر. Again, وما هذا الدكان الجميل إلى اليمين يا عمر. هذا دكان فاكهاني ألا ترى إلى الفواكه وترى الناس يساومون الفاكهاني فيها. Again, ألا ترى إلى الفواكه وترى الناس يساومون الفاكهاني فيها. Khalid said, أنا أريد أن أشتري شيئا من الفواكه. Again, أنا أريد أن أشتري شيئا من الفواكه الموز والجوافة والبرتقال فإني أريد أن أدعو بعض الإخوان إلى الفطور بكرة. Okay, good. Let's translate. هل means الزرت. Have you visited? Have you visited سوق هذا البلد, the market of this town, my friend? Yeah, Sadiq, oh my friend. Okay, we've said that. But let's break zort. Let's break it down. Okay? Zort is from the verb zaro. Yazuru. Yazuru ziyaratun. Ziyaratun. Good. What does this mean? It means to visit. It's a verb to visit. So zara is visited, yazuru is visiting, and ziyara is visitation or visiting. Right? It's a verbal noun from the verb. Good. So how do we come about this zort? So this is what you need to do. We have a science that teaches us how these verbs change tenses, how we change the tenses of this verb, and how they take different form with the subject pronouns. Okay, but we are not going to delve into that because there's a science that treats that. Surf is a science which treats that, but we can still kind of familiarize ourselves with the patterns. We have learned a verb on this pattern, and that verb is قال. يقول قولا. Okay, and I kind of explain, what is going on to us. This is a past tense form, and the subject of the verb is you. You visited. Have you visited? If it is have I visited, it becomes zurtu. Right? If I want to say I visited Makkah, zurtu Makkah, or zurtu al-bayt, or zurtu al-makan, I visited the place. Okay? So, and we have come across, the past tense of qala for myself if I'm the subject. So the qala here means he talked or he said. But here, if I want to say I said, I say qultu. Qultu. So we've come across this. Right? So I said. So qulta is you said. So the two in the past tense form shows that I did the action. Right? The term means you did the action. The second person pronoun did the action. Okay? So if we follow that pattern, zaro yazuru, zaro, if I want to form the past tense form for the first person, I say zurtu. Zurtu. Right? This is the past tense form for these visits. Right? The form of the verb visit, the past tense form for the first person. The past tense form for the second person becomes zurta. Zurta. So what is happening here? So we have verbs that have weak letters, and the weak letter here is alif. So sometimes this alif changes to waw in the present form. So but what we do is, whenever we are forming the past tense form, we drop we go along with this. So we drop the waw, right? It becomes zur, and we give this sukun, and we add the pronoun, which is the ta or tu. It becomes zurtu. Okay, I hope you can get that, right? So if you want to practice more, you can use another verb, soma, yasumu, right? Siyamun or somun. So soma, yasumu, siyamun. So this means he fasted. To fast is the verb from verb for to fast. Yasum is fasting, and siyam is the fasting itself, or so, right? So if I want to form the past tense form for the first person, right, adding the first person pronoun, I drop this waw, right? Yasumu, right? Then I turn this last letter here from waw, from dhamma to sukun, then I had the pronoun, so it becomes sumtu or sumta. Okay, sumtu or sumta. So if it is sumta, you fasted. If it is sumtu, I fasted. I hope you can follow that, right? I didn't want to go deep, right? But I just want to, because there's another verse in the Quran that uses this verb, this hatta zurtum al-maqabir. Hatta zurtum. When you, it is also you there. Is it until you visit the grave? That is until you are inside the grave, your graveyard. That is when you are going to, come back to reality that you need to worship Allah. You need to take care of your deen, right? So zur, zara yazuru is a word we can also find in the Quran. Zurtum al-maqabir. It is you plural there. The meme shows that it is plural. Okay, I think that is too much to chew for you, but just get yourself familiar with that pattern. So if I want to give you another exercise on that, I will say lama, to abuse or to blame. Yalumu fala talumuni walumu anfusakum, in the Quran, in Qirāatul Ibrahim, when Shaitan said, don't blame me, blame yourselves. Lama yalumu laumun. Right? If you want to say, I blamed you, lumtu, right? It becomes what? Lumtu or lumta, depending on the subject of the verb. Okay? So play with that. Qala, I've added a lot of verbs. Qala, we've said about soma. Then we have zara, which is the verb we're treating. Then we have lama. You can play around with these and try to see the pattern. Barakallahu fiqh. So هل زرت سوق هذا البلد يا صديقي? Have you visited the market of this town, oh my friend? لا يا أخي, no my brother. فإني غريب, I am a stranger. جديد في هذا البلد, new in this town, comma here. So these are two khabar, right? So it's more of like you're studying. So like, I am a stranger, new in this town, and la arifu tariq, I don't know the way. So arafa ya'rifu, ma'rifatun or irfanun. Ma'rifatun, to know, knowledge itself. Ma'rifa, knowledge of something, right? Knowledge, ma'rifa, or knowing something, or irfanun, right? Arafa ya'rifu, to know. This is a very important verb. You would also meet it in some ya'rifunaha. I'm trying to remember the verse, but I can't, recall it offhand, right? But there's an ayah in the Quran which says ya'rifunaha, right? They know it, right? La a'rifu at-tariq, I don't know the way. Umar said, Ta'al ma'i, come with me. Come with me. فَإِنِّي ذَاهِبٌ إِلَى السُّوقِ. Do you remember this? Yeah, I am going to the market. I am going to the market. ذهب يذهب, right? ذهب يذهب. ذهاب. That verb, to go. So here it means ذاهب, I am going. So you can just memorize فَإِنِّي ذَاهِبٌ إِلَى السُّوقِ. I'm going to the market. When you are doing it going, it becomes فَإِنِّي ذَاهِبٌ إِلَى السُّوقِ. I am going to the market. Why? لِأَشْتَرِيَ, in order to buy. In order to buy. Ishtara, we have come across that word. Ishtara, yashtari, ishtira'un. We've come across this in the previous chapters. So ishtara, yashtari, ishtira'un means to buy. Right? وقال الذي اشتراه من مصر لامرأته أكرمي مثواه عسى أن ينفعنا أو نتخذه ولدا, in Surah Yusuf. And the one who bought him from Misra, which is Al-Aziz, right? Aziz Misra. So said to his wife, right? What I want to use there is وَقَالَ الَّذِي اشْتَرَى, to buy. Right? This word is also very important. We can say it in the Quran. لأشتري بعض الحوائج, to buy some things. وَنَرْجِعُ رَجَعَ يَرْجِعُ رُجُوع. We've come across this word also. To return, and we will return. The noon here shows we will, right? We, it shows, the noon shows we. If it is Hamza, it shows I. The subject is I. If it is noon, it shows we. Okay? وَنَرْجِعُ قَبْلَ الْمَغْرِبِ, and we return before Maghrib, inshallah, inshallah. فَإِنَّ السُّوقَ, because the market is not far. غَيْرُ بَعِيدَةٍ. So ba'idatun is the opposite of qarib. We've come across qarib in the previous chapter. So the opposite of qarib is ba'id. Ba'id is far and qarib is near. Right? Because the suq is considered a feminine word here, that is why it is ba'idatun. Suq is considered a feminine word, that is why the author says ba'idatun. Alright? Good. Khalidun masha'Allah hadhihi, and you can see again we use hadhihi for a feminine. We use it is a relative pronoun to, or is a demonstrative pronoun to, point at objects. So because hadhihi is the feminine form of hadha, right? It shows that this suq again is considered as a feminine word, right? It's considered as a feminine word. Hadha is for mudhakkar, masculine, words that we consider masculine. So in order not to confuse you, basically in Arabic, objects are given genders, unlike English, right? Unlike English. For English, objects are neutral. There is something genitive or something, I can't remember what is called in English, but English doesn't give objects gender, right? The objects are neutral or something. They are neutral, so to say, right? So they are neutral. We don't consider them masculine. But in Arabic, we consider objects as feminine and masculine. How do we do that? How do we recognize objects that are feminine? So it's simply by giving them ta marbuto. But in this case, this suq doesn't have ta marbuto. So it's considered feminine in meaning. So how do you know that? It is through the text. When you read text, you see that, this word is considered feminine. Okay? So, and you can see the author considers this word feminine. That's why he's using hadhi. If he wasn't consider it as feminine, he would have used hadha. In this case, hadha al-balad. Balad is a masculine word. That's why it is hadha. Both hadha and hadhi means this. The difference is that one is used for feminine words and the other is used for masculine words. Okay, good. Hadhi suqun kabira. This is a big market. وَالدَّكَاكِنُ نظيفة جميلة, and the shops are neat and clean. وما هذا, so نظيفة is when something is clean. The opposite of that is wasikhun. When something is dirty, wasikhun. جميلة is beautiful. The opposite of it, that is what? قبيحة. قبيحة. or qabihun, jamilun, qabihun, jamilatun, qabihatun. Okay, good. وَمَا هَذَا الدُّكَّانُ الْجَمِيلُ, and what is this beautiful shop to the right? Ilal yamin, to the right. Ya Umar, Umar. Umar said, so the plural for the dukan is dakakin. Okay, the plural for dukan is dakakin. هذا دكان فاكهاني. So this is a fruit seller's shop. A fruit seller's shop. فاكهة وفاكهة مما يشتهون in the Quran. فاكهة is what? Fruit. In the garden, you see fruits that you desire, your heart desires. That's what Allah is saying. وفاكهة مما يشتهون. Okay. So هذا دكان فاكهاني, this is a fruit seller's shop. ألا ترى إلى الفواكه, don't you look at, can't you see the fruits? I think that's a better translation. Can't you see the fruits? And can't you see the people? And can't you see people يساومون الفاكهانية فيها, haggling prices with the fruit seller in there. Haggling prices with the fruit seller in the shop. This goes back to the dukan. And Khalid said, Sawama yusawimu musawamatun, means to argue price with someone, right? Try to, haggle over, prices. Okay. So haggling over, the prices with the fruit seller in the shop. Sawama yusawimu musawamatun again means to haggle, right? Which means to bargain over the cost of something. Okay. And Khalid said, Ana uridu an ashtariya shay'an min al-fawaqih. I want to buy something, right? I want to buy some fruits. Okay, I want to buy some fruits. Al-mawza, bananas, wal-jawatha, guavas, wal-burtuqal, and oranges. فإني أريد أن أذوى بعض الإخوان. I want to. أراد يريد, إرادة means to want something, you intend. أراد يريد إرادة, when to intend. إرادة means intention. So an adwa da'a yad'u du'ahun. Da'a yad'u du'ahun. I want to call or invite over some brothers ila al-futur, to break fast early tomorrow, right? Early, right? I want to call them over to breakfast, or for breakfast. I want to invite them over for. So that ayadu means to call. Sometimes it also means to invite, when it means you want to call people to come and eat. So here is inviting them over for breakfast early morning. Okay, so I think we should stop here, right? We should stop here. So let's recap some of the important vocabulary and new words we have learned in this session, right? We've learned suqun, aswaqun, and we say we can find this in the Quran. Ma li hadha al-rasul la ya'kulu at-ta'am wa yamshi fil aswaq. We can also see balad, baladun bilad in the Quran. La uqsimu bihadha al-balad wa anta hillun bihadha al-balad. So balad is also another very important word we need to pay a lot of attention to. Zara yazuru ziyaratun is another important word. Atta zurtum al-maqabir. We say zurta means you visited. If I want to say I visited, we say zurtu, and we give some explanation to understand the pattern. Gharibun means strange. and the plural for that is غرباء. Jadidun means new, right? Jadid means new. The plural for that is judud. عرف يعرف معرفة or irfanun is another word we will find in the Quran. At-tariq, way, we would also find that in the Quran. Ta'al, come, we can also find that word in the Quran. Ta'alaw. ندعو أبناءنا وأبناءكم ونساءنا ونساءكم وأنفسنا وأنفسكم ثم نبتهل فنجهل لعنة الله على الكاذبين. تعال, come. فقل تعالوا. In the Quran you would see that in Surah Al-Imran, right? What else? اشترى يشتري اشتراء is another word we find in the Quran, right? And we quoted the higher which uses that word, in which that word is used. Pardon me. Again, what else? And ra'a, yara, we've come across this word also. Nam, alam tara kayfa, taro, alam taro, don't you see how your Lord dealt with the people of the elephant? So this is another Quranic word. إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون. أراد يريد إرادة is another word. Whenever Allah intends to, إذا أراد شيئا, He intends to bring something into being, He says kun fayakun, be, and it will be. Fawaqi is another word on the Quran. And what else? Da'a yad'u is also in the Quran. If you go to Surah Al-Jinn, where in the وَأَنَّ الْمَسَاجِدَ لِلَّهِ فَلَا تَدْعُوا مَعَ اللَّهِ أَحَدًا, don't invoke other than Allah. So da'a yad'u means to invoke. It could also mean to invite people to a feast, like in this usage. Okay, barakallahu fikum wa ahsanallahu ilaykum, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us the people of the Quran. Is good to have you all listen to this session, and see you soon. Until then, remember that the Quran is accessible. Assalamu alaikum.